Welcome to Alaska Weather, a production of Alaska Public Media and the National Weather Service, Alaska Region. Produced and broadcast daily from the studios of KAKM, Alaska Weather provides complete forecasts, public, marine, and aviation for all of Alaska. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Perry Daney for February 19th, 2016. You can follow us also on Facebook, also on Twitter, and also at the www.arh.noaa.gov. Starting out with tonight's hazards, along the central solutions, you still have the blizzard warning that'll be in effect until 9 p.m. tonight, and that's mainly for Nikolsky, and that's for gusty winds 30 to 50 miles per hour with the gusts to 60 miles per hour, and they're expected to taper off then. For tonight's hazardous weather for the western coast, Arctic coastline, you have a wind chill advisory to minus 55 below, and that'll be after midnight tonight, extending through noon tomorrow. Now I'll start off with our satellite feature. Put our satellite in the loop. You can see this secluded low we've been talking about sitting over just south of Kodiak continues to fill and producing some precipitation along the Alaska and Aleutian range, and out in the central Bering Sea, actually northern Bering Sea. Put the loop in motion again. You can see this stronger included low that's sitting off the just east of the Kamchatka Peninsula, and that has a trailing occluded front, and that's continuing to bring cold snow showers on the backside of the low, and then you still have snow showers out in front with strong southerly winds. For the southeast, you have a weak trough that's pushing through here, and there's producing some precipitation through the Dixon entrance area, and there are some cloud cover that's starting to move up with this other included low that's over the Kodiak region. So otherwise, you go farther interior, there's some clouds moving into the central interior. And put it into the loop. You can see some clouds are making it all the way up to the north slope also, and otherwise it's mostly some stratus. This feature right down here, this triple point low that formed yesterday, that continues to move to the east, and that's producing those northwest winds and gusty conditions there at Nikolsky and the blizzard conditions there. They're expecting up to another 2 inches for that region. For today's weather, we've been talking about this included low there that's moving off to the east, and you got a inverted trough extending through the Pribilofs there, all the way up to the Pribilofs, and that's again producing some snow showers there and strong winds on the backside of the low. For the south central region, you have an inverted trough extending up, and you're having some scattered snow showers east of McGrath today, and then there's another weak trough that's up along the northwest coastline extending to the Beaufort Sea, and you have some scattered snow showers off the coastline there. Along the southeast panhandle, you have this low that's weakening and a weak trough, and that's producing some rain along the coastline there, moving into the Dixon entrance in the lower southern end of the inside waters. For tonight's forecast, pretty much this included low here sitting off southeast east of the Aleutians will continue to move to the northeast gradually and starting to fall apart. But you'll see a mixture, a wintry mix along the eastern Aleutians, extending up to the Aleutians, the Aleutian range. And then with this weak trough that's farther along the northern Gulf Coast, you have a wintry mix, not much precipitation-wise for the snow showers that's farther inland. On the Bering side, again, you have these weak troughs that are spinning around this low, and this is producing scattered snow showers. And farther north up along the Chukchi Sea, you have the scattered snow showers there. For Saturday's forecast, again, this secluded low is falling apart. It's showing the front breaking apart and losing its energy. And again, you'll have these troughs spinning around this system. They'll produce scattered snow showers throughout the Bering, the Bristol Bay region, and the western Bering also. You'll see a wintry mix again through the eastern Aleutians and the Aleutians chain here. And as you go to the southeast panhandle, you'll have strong southerly winds, and you see later on with the Marines, they'll show the strongest winds coming into the southeast panhandle. Again, you'll have a wintry mix as you go inland, and then snow farther inland. And then for the Anchorage Bowl, you have downsloping effect here, and so we're not getting any precipitation at all. Farther north is pretty much clear skies and just a weak trough pushing through the Arctic coastline. For Sunday's forecast, we have a low pressure system that's moving up through the Cook Inlet into the Mat-Su Valley, and that'll be producing some snow for the Anchorage Bowl, the Mat-Su Valley region. So we'll finally get some snow in the Anchorage Bowl. So we're by midnight tonight, we'll be tying the record for most consecutive days without snow. So we'll definitely be tying the record. Anyway, the forecast is out on how much we're going to be getting, so they'll continue to tweak the forecast as they get closer and closer. But anyway, we'll definitely be getting snow. This secluded low will be over the Aleutian Range here. Actually, the Alaska Peninsula will be producing mixed precipitation. On the backside, you have the colder air, and you'll have snow showers throughout the Bering. Now, also just south of the southwest of the western Aleutians, you have the next system pushing in, and you'll get some snow showers with that before it changes all to all rain going into next week. For the southeast, you have this continued weak trough pushing in. Again, rain showers, light rain, I should say, moving into the coastline and changing over as you go farther inland, and high pressure farther in the interior. Temperatures, we had 23 there in Valdez, 32 in Seward. You go down to the Kodiak, 38, Antioch at 39. As you go farther north, it's a little cooler there through the Yukon Valley, 0 degrees. But for the southeast panhandle, you have 25 in the Lynn Canal area. You go farther south, on the southeast panhandle, you have in the upper 40s. And looks like Heidenberg had 45, and Klawock came in at a high of 47. Temperatures this afternoon, farther north, Barrel was coming in at minus 12, Prudhoe Bay, Dead Horse at minus 13. And you just start warming up as you go along the southwest northern coastline here with the southerly winds before they start switching over more northerly later. But anyway, definitely a little warmer conditions. Along the range, you're going to have along the eastern Aleutians, again with this occluded low over Kodiak with northeast flow, you're getting plenty of cloud cover, and you're in the mid-30s there. Farther out west with the colder air, you get 21 all the way out at Shemya, and a little warmer there at Adak and Atka. Tonight's low temperatures, well, again, will be the lowest will be in the Yukon Valley area. The lowest temperatures the last 24 hours has been minus 31 degrees at Arctic Village. And Barrow, again, they're -11. A little warmer as you go to the southeast region there with the included low there near Kodiak, so 18 for Anchorage. And then you go along the Alaska Peninsula, you start warming up again with a cloud cover, 33, and the coldest again out at Shemya and the Pribilofs at 27 with all this northwest winds and colder air. For the southeast panhandle, tonight's lows will continue to be in the upper 20s, and a little higher with the near the Dixon entrance with the occluded low out here, not occluded, but low that's starting to move into that region. Tomorrow's high temperatures, again, will be the warmest along the Alaska Peninsula, eastern Aleutians, and through the south central. Again, as this southerly winds, and you got that next low pressure system that's going to be moving in. So the highest temperatures the last 12 hours, that is, has been 52 at AKwx in the southeast panhandle. And today, the AKwx was coming in at, let's see here, tomorrow's highs, they're looking at 42, 44, excuse me, 46 at Heidelberg. Tomorrow's flying weather, again with this, you're going to have marginal VFR and IFR conditions throughout the Bering Sea with the occluded system that's way out near coming off the Kamchatka Peninsula. So you'll have, again with northerly flow, you're going to have the Bering will pretty much be all covered with marginal VFR conditions with some IFR. Along the Aleutian Range, you're going to have some IFR conditions standing up to the Alaska Range here, the western portions, but again, that's with that system that's starting to move in. That's why you're showing also in the Prince William Sound, the eastern Kenai region also with the next system that's starting to push in. For the southeast panhandle, you have this weak low over here that's starting to fall apart, but it is bringing a strong southerly flow with it, behind it, and you're getting moisture starting to get pumped in here. So along the Arctic coastline, you'll have some marginal VFR, IFR conditions with stratus. Tomorrow's flying conditions, AKwx VFR conditions, Adigan VFR, Lake Clark and Merrill, marginal VFR to IFR, rainy VFR, windy VFR, and Isabel VFR, Mentasta VFR, Tanita VFR, and Portage, marginal VFR with that low stratus coming in. And Chillicook and White, marginal VFR. And then tomorrow's morning's freezing levels. Your highest freezing levels, again, will be over the southeast section with the high pressure. And you can see the freezing level is 2,000 to 4,000 feet. Again, the freezing levels are at the surface. You can see all along the chain. Again, with the northerly flow and colder air coming in, is pushing the freezing levels closer and closer to the chain. Tomorrow's icing pretty much above 3,000 throughout the Bering Sea and along the chain, and then above 5,000 for the northern Gulf Coast and the southeast panhandle. You'll have above 5,000 again with these systems that's starting to push in, and also the Arctic coastline above 3,000. Tomorrow's jet stream, strong northwesterly flow coming off the Kamchatka Peninsula, and then it'll transition to westerly to 100 to 160 knots farther in the Gulf, the Pacific, and then transition more southwesterly as you go into the lower 48. There is one finger of the jet stream going southerly. That's for tomorrow. That'll help to push this next system up into our region, the Anchorage area, for the snow to possibly occur. And that's 105. Farther north, you have the low over the eastern Arctic, and you have the northwesterly flow at 85, transitioning to southerly at 80. Tomorrow's 9,000 foot winds. Again, low pressure sitting over the northern Bering Strait. Again, the flow around that is anticyclonic. You have 20, 15 knots. On the backside of this low along the chain, you're going to have a northeasterly 20. And then for the southeast, with this strong push of southerly winds, it looks like there's going to be a barrier jet starting to form for tomorrow. So that's why you're having stronger winds along the coastline, 50, 60 knots southeast, then transitioning to southerly 25, and then northwest at 30 with high pressure dominating over the interior. Tomorrow's 3,000-foot winds. Again, this low sitting over the chain south of it. You'll have northeast winds 50 knots going through the Aleutian Range, strong gap winds. So look for, with the turbulence chart, you'll see some turbulence there. Then the occluded low that's starting to fill, you'll have weak winds over there. Farther north, you have easterly winds 35 knots. Again, along the southeast panhandle, strong southerly winds 50 to 45 knots with that barrier jet that will be forming. And then tomorrow's turbulence, again, with the strong easterly winds 50 to 65 knots through this region, through the Barren Islands westward, you'll have a light to occasional moderate above 4,000, and along the occluded low here with the strong northwesterly winds that are starting to diminish. Farther north, you have strong easterly winds, so they're expecting above 4,000 there. And for the southeast panhandle, again, with a strong barrier jet starting to form, you'll have above 4,000 for that region. I'll be back with your marine forecast after this.
Good evening, I'm Harry Keeling, and on behalf of Alaska Public Media and the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation, welcome to Hangar Flying. Tonight we're going to continue our look at a field of aviation that we've discussed before, which is unmanned aircraft. In November we had Representative Shelley Hughes on. She talked about some safety concerns with drones. A couple of weeks ago we spoke with Steve Colligan about the Academy Model aircraft and also about his company, Precision Flight Devices, which is involved in unmanned aircraft. Tonight we're going to look at a company that's doing some interesting work with unmanned aircraft, and that's Aquilo. The CEO is here with us tonight, Carl France. Welcome, Carl.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So Carl's originally from Southern California, came to Alaska initially to become a professional pilot at UAA in their piloting program. Subsequently, he transferred to UAF and changed his major to mechanical engineering. That is where he first became involved with unmanned aircraft. He's now the CEO, as I mentioned, of Aquilo, which is an operational business employing UAS technology. Carl, let's start with you maybe giving a description to our viewers of what your company does.
Sure. So basically what our company does is take UAVs and fly them to gather industrial and scientific data for clients. Then we process the data and then give it to them to answer their questions.
Now you are, as I understand, a subsidiary of Northern Embedded Solutions, is that correct? So how do you lash up?
So Northern Embedded Solutions has been the engineering powerhouse for AKwx, the UAS unmanned aircraft drone program since basically its inception in 2012. So once the opportunity came to where Northern Embedded Solutions could go and start to operate drones itself under the new 333 commercial rules from the FAA, Aquilo was our chance to do that.
Are you, you currently have 333s?
Yep. We have a 333 and a number of COAs, certificate authorization from the FAA.
And what type of work are you doing?
So this summer we got a late start, unfortunately, but we were able to work with Fish and Game to do some salmon surveys and Fort Knox Mines to do some of their, to do some pilot line work with them.
And what type of platforms are you using?
We're using DJI platforms, Phantom 3 Professional and the Inspire 1. We do a little bit of the kind of the DIY side, the Pixoc autopilots and those areas, but mostly we've been focusing on DJI.
So those are basically, you go down to Hobby Store and buy one, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have to modify them much with, I assume your sensors are probably...
So it depends on the type of work that we're doing. With Northern Embedded Solutions, we have a real capability to get in there and do some real engineering on the sensor work and on the airframe. But if we're just going out to collect simple video or pictures and then do data processing afterwards, then no, the sensors that come with the aircraft are powerful enough.
You also developed or modified the ptarmigan, is that correct?
Yeah. AKwx's main aircraft for the past few years has been the ptarmigan, which is a DJI-produced hexacopter. And we went and put in some of the more powerful custom autopilots and cleaned up some of the electronics inside to have a really reliable professional product. And they've been operating that for 2 or 3 years solid. They've been very happy with it.
So you took a basic commercially available platform, the DJI, or was it a did you rename it the ptarmigan, or?
Yeah, so it was a DJI platform, and then which is basically kind of a hobby platform, and we went in and did custom electronics and work on it to bring it up to a more reliable professional spec, and now we call it the ptarmigan.
So talk a little bit about the ptarmigan. A lot of our viewers probably have never walked in a hobby shop or have seen any of these quadcopters or hexacopters. How big is the ptarmigan?
So for a manned aircraft, it's small, but for an unmanned aircraft, it's fairly big. Probably about 1 meter across, 3 feet, 4 feet across, and about 5 pounds, 6 pounds, fully loaded.
And so what kind of payload can you carry? Obviously you could carry a GoPro or something of that size.
Yeah, the heaviest thing we carried was 2 DSLRs. So it was about 2 pounds, and we had, for a Bureau of Land Management project, out on a meter-long pole, 2 cameras facing down, and we could do stereo imagery with that. I think that was the heaviest thing that we carried on it. So we can carry quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I just think about the math a little bit. You've got a 5-pound machine that carries a 2-pound payload. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
I'll tell you what, we're going to run out of time. I want to get you back on, and what I want to talk about next time is why are you using unmanned aircraft versus more traditional methods, or how do you integrate them? Let's put, because I know it's not segregating, it's integrating.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, let's get back on and pick this up where we left off.
Sure, will do.
Thanks for being on the program.
Thank
tonight.
you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed tonight's program. Tune in next time. We'll have Carl back on to talk about some more of this fascinating technology. And until then, fly safe.
Welcome back to your Alaska weather. Now for your marine forecast for this evening. Starting off the southeast, Saturday's marine forecast. Again, you're going to have these strong southerly winds that's going to be building in, and the outside waters are going to have a gale force, even stronger to storm force as you go farther north near Yakutat. So the barrier jet will be forming. The inside waters are a little weaker through Lynn Canal, the northern portions there, the northerly 20, and they start shifting around to the southeast again with that system coming in at gale force through the Dixon entrance range. And your highest wave heights again will be on the outside waters ranging from 18 to 26 feet. For Sunday, again, you're going to still have strong gale force winds southerly to southeast along the outside waters. The inside waters, you're going to have a small craft northerly 25, and then gale force southeasterly coming there at the Dixon entrance. Again, your strongest wave heights are on the outside waters ranging from 24 to 26 feet. For Saturday, the south central marine forecast through the Prince William Sound region, you're going to have easterly flow. Again, you're going to have a system down here producing all these southeasterly winds through the region here, through the western Gulf, and you're going to have gale force winds easterly through the Barings, and then small craft at Kodiak, a little weaker there, but for the most part, all gale force. Then on the Cook Inlet, all the way down through the towards the Bering Strait, not Bering Strait, but the Shelikof Strait, you're going to have gale force winds and then shifting easterly there. For Sunday, with continued the low that's going to be pushing up from the south here, you're going to have gale force winds entering the Prince William Sound region, a little stronger outside the Hinchinbrook region, southerly 45 knots. You get near Kodiak, they'll be diminishing the 25 knots, 30 knots. The Cook Inlet, northeasterly at 10 knots, easterly as you go farther south, and then you start switching to southerly when you get to the Barren Islands and southeast through the Shelikof Strait region. For Saturday marine forecast for the Alaska Peninsula, you're going to have gale force winds on the Pacific side, easterly, and then northerly from just east of Sand Point. And then on the Bering side, easterly flow, northeast flow, small craft, and some freezing spray issues. For Sunday, you're going to have, again, this southwesterly flow pushing up along the Pacific side, wave heights 9 to 15 feet, and then small craft winds easterly coming out of the Bristol Bay region, and then northwest just north of Perryville. For the Aleutian Range for Saturday, again, you're going to have all this northwesterly flow coming through here with the colder air. It's going to be diminishing what it has been, so you're going to have small craft on the Bering side, and then Pacific side, you'll have gale force winds at 35 knots. For the Sunday's marine forecast for Aleutian Islands, again, continued northwesterly flow, and it's reflected through the chain here. Small craft on both Pacific and Bering side, and then on the there'll be easterly from Adak westward to Shemya at gale force winds there. For Saturday, west coast, you're going to have offshore flow coming off the YK Delta in the Bristol Bay region and some freeze and spray issues there. Then northerly through the St. Lawrence area and northeast through the St. Matthew area. Again, freezing spray, and northerly from St. Paul. For west coast for Sunday, continued northerly flow, freezing spray issues as northeast flow coming off the southwest coastline, and then you're going to see freezing spray again for the St. Matthew region. For the Arctic coast, you're going to have easterly winds and then shifting to the northeast, predominantly all through the northwest coastline, and then you get through the Chukchi Sea, you're going to have northerly at 20 knots. Again, no sea heights, no wave heights, I should say, with the ice cover. For Sunday, you're going to have primarily all easterly flow until you get to Barrow. Then it's all northeasterly, shifting to northerly, going through the Bering Strait. And then that's going to be all small craft. Tonight's forecast is that a include low sitting south of Kodiak. They'll bring a light rain through the western coast, and they'll bring through the Aleutian Range some mixed precipitation and some snow on the eastern Kenai. Otherwise, it looks pretty good through the Bering side. To be pretty much all scattered snow showers. You have a good evening. That's your marine forecast for this evening.
These forecasts are to be used for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.